You're born into a world that's harsh, barren, and unforgiving. You hatch from your egg, and the first thing you notice is the heat. The rocky ground beneath your feet is burning hot, and there's not a single tree in sight. The sun blazes down on you with no mercy, and your tiny body, still soft and fragile, is struggling to adjust to this unforgiving environment. It's not like the lush jungles or tropical forests where iguanas usually thrive. Here, you're on your own, surrounded by nothing but rocks and dust. There's no cool shade to escape to, no soft leaves to munch on. You feel the heat of the ground under your feet, and your body starts to overheat. You need to find a way to survive, fast. Iguanas are cold-blooded, meaning they rely on external heat sources to regulate their body temperature. But in a world like this, finding that perfect balance between too hot and too cold is a constant struggle. As you begin to move across the rocky landscape, you realize how vulnerable you are. Every step you take feels like it could lead to disaster. The rocks are jagged, sharp, and unstable, and you have to be careful not to trip or slip. There's no smooth path here, no comfortable terrain to navigate. The rocks can be deadly. You step on a sharp stone and a jolt of pain shoots up your leg. You freeze. Did that noise attract attention? Is there a predator nearby? In this barren environment, every sound is a potential threat. Suddenly, you hear a hiss. You look up and there it is, a snake slithering across the rocks with silent precision. Its tongue flicks the air, and its cold, calculating eyes fixate on you, a predator. You're tiny and fast, but you're also vulnerable in this environment. The snake, on the other hand, is built for this rocky terrain. It can slither across the rocks effortlessly, and it's probably been waiting for an easy meal like you. Without warning, a snake bursts out from behind the rocks. Its sleek brown scales blend perfectly with the environment, and for a moment it's hard to even spot it. It's a perfect ambush. The snake's tongue flicks rapidly as it locks its eyes on you. You're its target. It's fast, but you're faster. You dart to the left, your claws scraping against the sharp rocks, but you can feel the snake getting closer. You push yourself harder, running across the jagged terrain, your body agile and swift, but your heart races with each step. There's no time to waste, but then you hear more rustling. Another snake appears from the rocks, then another, more snakes. They're coming from every direction, hiding in the crevices of the hills. You're surrounded. The rocky hills have become a maze, each peak and boulder offering a potential hiding spot for the deadly predators. But you can't stop. You know that if you slow down, even for a second, you'll be caught. The snakes are smart, patient, and they blend perfectly with the environment. Their scales are the same brown as the rocks, and their movements are so silent that they could be right next to you without you even realizing it. You race through the terrain, your claws digging into the cracks between the rocks, trying to find a path to safety. But you can't see them, and they can see you. The snakes are masters of camouflage, and they know the terrain better than you do. One moment, you're running across a flat expanse of rock, and the next you're nearly tripping over a snake that's hidden between two boulders. It strikes, narrowly missing you, but the attack is enough to send you tumbling across the ground. You have no choice but to keep running. You scramble up the side of a steep hill, your legs burning with the effort. The sun is unforgiving, beating down on you as you try to climb higher, but the rocks are slick with dust and sweat. You reach for a ledge to pull yourself up, but just as your claws latch onto a rock, you hear a hiss. You look up. There's a snake right above you. It strikes. You barely manage to duck, but the snake's fangs graze your tail. You yelp in pain, but there's no time to stop. You scramble up the rocks, your heart pounding in your chest. Just as you reach a narrow crevice, you slip inside, hoping the space will be small enough for the snake to lose track of you. But the snakes are still out there, waiting. You can hear them moving, slithering through the rocks, their eyes glinting in the sun as they search for any sign of movement. For a moment you think you're safe, but then you hear another hiss. The snakes are getting closer. You peek out of your crevice, your heart racing. You see the snakes hidden between the rocks, their brown scales blending so perfectly with the environment that they almost look like part of the landscape itself. They're everywhere. You're surrounded. You know that if you try to run now, they'll be on you before you can make it even a few steps. You're trapped. Your only hope is to outsmart them. You hold your breath, staying as still as possible. The snakes slither past you, unaware of your presence. You wait and wait. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, the snakes move further away. You take the opportunity to slip out of your hiding spot and sprint across the rocks, your legs burning with every step, but you're not out of danger yet. The snakes are still out there, and they're getting closer. You reach a large boulder, hoping it will provide some cover, but as you round the corner, you're met with a chilling sight. More snakes. They've surrounded you. You can hear their hissing, feel their eyes on you. They're closing in. You can't escape. This is it. In the last moments of desperation, you whip your tail around, hoping to knock one of the snakes back, but it's useless. The snakes are too many, and you're too small. One of them lunges forward and wraps itself around your body, its coils tightening as it begins to constrict. You're trapped.